What is happening? As we all know, in May we got an update to Starfield, and since then I have been endlessly tweaking the settings to try and get the most, I want to say, immersive settings to play on. When the update first came out, of course, my first thought was I'm going to bump everything up to the most extreme of difficulties to make it as not only difficult as possible, but also to make it a sort of a hardcore survival mode. But as you saw in my other video where I first talked about the update making things more exciting, I did opt to boost my own weapon damage up. Now, since then, I have made several changes. After a few encounters, well, first off, let's talk about this ship. I was very excited to find a derelict ship, but then, unfortunately, the only thing that happened here was a bunch of people got a disease of some sort. So it's a whole ship full of dead people and a little bit of loot. So, you know, all in all, not too bad. But no gunfights, just a bunch of dead people. At least this guy, you know, he tried to, whatever he was doing there, he tried to keep it in the bucket. Didn't work. I appreciate the effort. But we are going to get into these settings. We're going to talk about the settings very soon. Right after I talk about this poor soul who was about to write some sort of note to someone. He's even got a pen in his hand, as you can see. And I checked. I looked really close at the paper of his notepad. He didn't even start. Like, not even a dear, name, comma, whatever. So anyway, tons of dead people. But yeah, these are people who did not survive. See, that's a perfect segue into talking about survival mode. By the way, yes, I did just take a cup of half-drink tea, Tranquility, I believe. You know, I know that all these people died of a disease, but yeah, it should be fine. I think, like, after, 48 hours, something like that, you know, space disease, it's fine. So yeah, let's talk about my settings, because I started to, I had some encounters that were very easy because my damage output was so high. So then I would, bump it, to easy or normal or even very hard. And you do that and enemies start to become very spongy. Well, I'm happy to say that my first inclination was correct. That your enemies, if you're looking for sort of an immersive, gunplay, an immersive game, your enemies should be set to extreme, the enemy damage, and your own damage should be set to very easy. I stand by this because we are going to do a bounty. You're going to see this in the video. I'm going to do a bounty. I'm going to get into this cave, and there is, an enemy there. The actual bounty himself is very dangerous. Takes several shots to put him down. That's with my damage on very easy. You're going to see, I really think the gunplay feels good this way. But what about the other settings? So I want to talk about the other settings because I just feel like it's sort of a survival mode, but it's a little bit half-baked at the moment. Man, look at this thing. It's like he doesn't have a head, but like that is his head. His like neck, his nub, whatever that is. He seems nice, like he's not attacking me, but I wouldn't, like, how do you pet, this thing? Like, do you pet the neck hole? So yeah, you're gonna see some gunplay in this video, and it feels really right. But then some of the other settings, so they never called it a survival update. So there's definitely, it's a survival light. Now, one of the settings was, for environmental damage and how quickly your suit protection comes back. Of course, I wanted everything to be a challenge, so I put that setting all the way up so that you had to basically go back either to a town or to your ship. So then what happens is you're going out and you're exploring, and then you have to keep going back to your ship again and again and again. It ended up not being fun. And not only, it's not about fun. The word that I keep coming back to is immersive. I love the sort of, the floor is lava type gameplay where you're in a dangerous environment and you've got to get to the next POI. You've got to take shelter, or if there's a storm of some kind, you've got to take shelter. So that's very fun. It's not as fun if you have to take shelter always in your ship. Another setting I want to talk about is recovering health when sleeping. So if you are thinking like me the first time these settings came out, I'm going to bump everything up to the most difficult. I think I just shot that person like right in the beehole. Fire! Fire! So if you're like me and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to put everything extreme and it's going to be difficult and fun, here's the problem. So because we don't have a true survival update yet, there is no reason to sleep. You don't have to do it. So I'm trying to incentivize gameplay that feels like survival. So so even though I don't have to sleep, there's a huge benefit to sleeping. So I've got all these other difficulty settings that make it so, health packs come back your health comes back really slow. Maybe I run out of health packs. Like, finding a place to sleep is something that a survival mode would incentivize. So therefore, I left the setting at normal. So yeah, I did that to sort of give myself a reason to find places to sleep. I was actually, look at how dangerous this gunplay is. I was like, just had a sliver of life because I went out into the open. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the battle I was referring to earlier, where I actually have to try to take cover, and you actually have to be careful. You have to get a vantage point, you have to take cover. All of these things make the gunplay more fun and more exciting. So yeah.
Reloading. You won't get me though.
Look at this. So as you can see, like, it's, there's still a good gun battle here, even with my damage up to very easy. All right, and down. So where was I? Yes, talking about incentivizing gameplay that makes it feel a little bit more like survival. So yeah, those are sort of the big takeaways there, is that you want your settings so that you are recovering your suit. You're recovering your suit protection anytime you go somewhere where there is an atmosphere. So you find a POI, you find a place where, it's sort of like a breathable atmosphere, and your suit protection is going to come back. And I leave it to normal so you don't have to sit down, because there's something nice about, like, you have to scavenge, right? And so it just doesn't seem fun to me to have to go in and then sit and just hit the little wait button. So I like that I'm recovering suit protection while I walk around inside these POIs and scavenge. And of course, I do have, food being necessary. I do think that this needs an overhaul someday when we actually have a survival mode, but for right now, it's fine. So every 30 minutes you have to eat. It's a little buggy. I've seen some people have some issues. I haven't had any of the major bugs. I get just the little minor ones where it just tells me that I'm fed and hydrated, you know, randomly. I'm not really going to go into ship combat today because that's just something I'm not really messing with right now. But yeah, I have ammo weight on. I have carry capacity, you know, reduced. I like that I can't carry, you know, 20 guns. I'm usually just carrying my top three favorites. Medical items slowly, you know, heal. Vendor credits are reduced. Combat affliction gain increased. Ah, yes, this is something else I wanted to talk about. So I have combat affliction gain increased because I like this. You know, if you get shot, you're bleeding. Like, you know, that's just, it makes sense to be getting injured. So I had mentioned that there were some settings that I put all the way up, and I've changed since the update came out. One big one. I want to talk about affliction treatment. Now, if you bump the difficulty on this all the way up, all the medical items that you get will stabilize you, but they will not cure you. And so you have to go to a doctor. Now, at first, I was all for this. I thought, oh, this is great. Like, they have medical centers. Like, this is a reason to go. But I started sort of feeling like there was no reason to use these medical items because I would use them and then, you know, I was stabilized, but then still it was, you know, causing me issues. It almost just felt like there wasn't a reason to pick up these treatments. Then I didn't feel like I was out surviving. I didn't feel like I'm out surviving if I have to go between every mission, go back to the doctor, heal everything, stitch everything, you know. Again, it's all about the immersion. I didn't feel like I was out surviving in the far reaches of space. So, I put that back on normal. Now, here's why it's still going to be a challenge, though. Even though that is on normal, that's just how you treat the afflictions. How you get afflictions is it's still set to extreme. It's still set to advanced or whatever they call it. Because, so, you know, you're getting injured all the time. Now, what this means is, hey, I'm eventually going to run out of treatments anyway. And so I will still, from time to time, have to go to the doctor. You know, that is not ruled out. But I do think that as a scavenger, you should be rewarded for scavenging and finding these items and finding these treatments. What's nice about the afflictions is even, like, okay, if you die, you save reload. You can save often, whatever. But generally, if you're taking on afflictions, like where you get burns, you get cuts, generally you're not going to be reloading a save just because you got some afflictions, because you're getting them in every gunfight. So I like that there are these consequences that I have to deal with. And this is me being dumb and careless. This is me playing the way that I, you know, played Starfield before the update. But as you can see, my health is dropping pretty low. Actually, I have to take cover. And I attempt to take cover behind this extremely short wall, which it seems to work. Some of these snipes here feel pretty good. So one thing I really like about how these POIs are set up out in the open, some of these that have you know, a bunch of mercenaries or pirates kind of crawling all over them, is if you want to snipe, it's a very fun playground for snipers. So some things that I would like to come to survival mode in the future, of course, is more incremental hunger and thirst. So right now it's sort of just a binary thing. Either you're hungry and thirsty or you're not. Well, at least they're separate, so you can be, you know, hungry and not thirsty and vice versa. But I do think it should be
combat
more incremental than that. It's pretty stark, like all of a sudden you're hungry and then you lose your bonuses and then you have these detriments. So yeah, more incremental would be great. You can tell that it's built into the game that ships use fuel to get to other, parts of the universe, parts of the galaxy. So it'd be nice for fuel to come back. It's another good aspect of actually surviving out in the, the far reaches of space is that you would have to actually mine for fuel. So that would be nice if we get that later on in an update. So definitely there's a lot, that is still going to come to Starfield in the future, and there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot for us to hope for. I'm not too worried with Creation Kit, sort of around the corner. No, we don't know when it is, but we know that there are verified creators that are already making stuff for it. But I'm not worried about getting true survival elements in the future. Pretty stoked about that. But for right now, this is a great update that's sort of like, I was already playing Starfield, but this is sort of making the game feel a little bit fresh, a little bit more fresh to play. I mean, I would love to know what you would want in a survival update, or actually just any sort of update. Like, what are you looking forward to? Of course, the dune buggy, or whatever it's going to be called, the Land Rover vehicle, from the very brief little glimpse that we got of it, it looks very fun. That's going to add a lot to the, traveling of the terrain. So I am excited for that. What else do you want to see come to this game? What's going to add to it? Do you like immersive modes, or, are you just good with the sort of the power fantasy of just running around being basically a Jedi? Let me know in the comments what you are into. There is a big interspecies battle coming up, so stick around and you'll see that here shortly. Yeah, these big beetles here are pretty rough. I came up here just thinking I was going to battle against whoever was coming out of that ship. Oh, sent that one flying. Yeah, I saw this ship land and I was like, okay, this will be fun. I'll get a little battle with these people, and had no idea what I was in for. It was pretty entertaining to see all these alien fauna join in the battle. I was so conflicted because I wanted to, shoot these guys and finish the battle, but I didn't want to kill them too quickly because, some of these animals would come into the fray, and it was just so much fun to watch. Yeah, see, I could have killed him, but I sort of just wanted to help the pterodactyl. Well, I guess they've had enough. Let me know what you think of the update, and if there's anything else you want me to cover in a video real soon, just let me know. We also have a Patreon. I wouldn't mind it if you checked that out. You can get ad-free content. You can get it early for as little as $1 a month. So that's how we're rolling these days. You know, check it out. Got some extra goodies there as well. But appreciate you checking out the video, and we'll see you next time.